Hey, welcome everyone who's tuning into One Earth Live. We appreciate you checking out the stream and this content. I'm here with a dear friend of mine, Teotecpatl Martinez, who's tuning in from Mexico City. I'd like to, give you a warm welcome and express my gratitude for you sharing your time with us. And yeah, I'd love to start out by, welcoming you here and maybe having you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from and you know.
Thank you so much. Yeah. My name is Teotecpatl Martinez from Mexico City, and I am a regional director of Air Guardians. And I'm also part of the Aztec, the Mexica tradition, the ancient culture of Mexico. And I also am a musician, and I like to enjoy life. I'm a simple person who likes to serve to the humanity.
Thanks. Yeah, Dale's been doing amazing work in Mexico as the regional director for Earth Guardians there, and I'd be interested to hear how through this time of lockdowns and isolation, how you've been staying connected to your work, to your culture, to your tradition. What are some of the ways you've been adapting your relationship with those practices in your lives?
It's been quite an experience, this pandemic. I think it's a test for everyone in the world. And but it's also a great opportunity to go inside yourself, because most of the people in these last 300 years, the humanity has been involved in capitalism, involved in trying to grow economically, and we forgot about where we came from, and that this system is in collapse. And so now that we are in our homes trying to take care of our families, of ourselves, it's a great opportunity to go inside of you and to take care about your space, your sacred space, which is the most important space. It begins in your room, It begins in your body, in yourself, in your mind, your spirit, your soul, your emotions. So before the pandemic, I used to go everywhere, to the ancient ceremonies, to the activities for Air Guardians, to travel to United States, to Europe, to Canada, anywhere. But now I'm here in my home, and every day it becomes great for me, and because I have a lot of, actually I have it in my hand, all the books that I've been reading. I have all in here. I have a bunch of books in here. So I've been using my time to study what is the world outside in here. From here, through the books, I can go and travel anywhere I want. And it's so amazing. And I'm also, there's my cat. And I'm also using my time for doing art, like this Shakira, and it's so beautiful to do art. This is an ancient ways of well, it's not really ancient. Maybe in this last 400 years, or native people start using this little chakiras, it's called in Spanish. But now we use it for our regalias, for our customs. And then I've been watching a lot of documentaries, and I've been taking care of my family, and I've been talking more with my dad, and I've been talking more with my brother, and I've been just taking care of my space, and having more communication, and to know more about my little town. Actually, in permaculture, they teach us that the one of the principles of permaculture is to to start in different levels. The like different zones, the zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, and the first zone begins in your house. So if you really want to change the world, you have to start in your house, with your family, after your neighbors and your little town, and that's how I've been trying to keep going. And also I've been using this platform, Zoom, to talk with the Earth Guardians, that they're all in the same situation, and we've been scheduling some calls to share each other what are we doing and how are we receiving this experience, because this pandemic is changing the history of humanity, and it's a good lesson. I think a lot of I hope so many people in the world could realize that we have to come back with another way of thinking, because we don't even know if it comes from animals, this pandemic, but if it does, it's a really serious call from nature, because we've been killing animals, we've been using animals, we've been like humanity is I think this pandemic is the result of what we've been doing with the mother earth, with everything around us. And I know that there's been more pandemics before. Even there, a lot of people died before, more than this one. But nowadays, also we have the climate change, we have the global warming, we have many issues in humanity, and we put this, everything is like in collapse. All the governments, the greatest economies in the world, like United States, like England, like France, like Italy, like Spain, like Russia, many of those big economies, they are like collapsing. And I think what I've been doing is developing my spirituality in my life. And in the ancient times, our ancestors used to go 4 days and 4 nights in a circle without having water or food. It's used to call the vision quest. So I think this is nothing compared with that kind of offers. The vision quest is they used to do that to have a vision when people used to, when somebody lost the way, they go to the sacred circle of 4 days without food or word to have a vision again, to heal and to have a clear path in their lives. So I think that's that's the lesson for me in this time, because now when everything changes again for normal, I hope so soon. I think I'm gonna 90% or maybe 100% of the people is gonna appreciate more what we have, all the freedom, and because we always limit ourselves, and there's no limits. Now that we're here, a lot of people think, oh, I wish to go there, I wish to be there, but when we have the time, we don't do anything. We are slaves of the system, and I think that's what I've been doing. And well, thank you for letting me speak a little bit.
Absolutely. No, I think you covered so many important points. A few things that really stuck out for me was, this need to shift our mindset moving forward and come out of this situation of a different mind than we entered it with, right? And so I think it's crucial that we find ways to shift our behavioral patterns moving forward. And so I guess the thing I'd like to dive a little deeper into what you said is, what do you think it takes, or what are some of the ways you think that we can shift our behavioral patterns moving forward so that we can step out of this situation into an existence and a future that's more viable for a thriving and, you know, healthy civilization or society that we have?
For me, sometimes it becomes kind of easy to be happy, because I was I come from a really humble family that we are used to don't have so much material things to be happy, and now we have a kind of different situation. But most of a lot of times in my life, we've been having a lot of problems with the richness of material things. So I think that's something really amazing now that I am older. When I was young, I used to wish to have many things, but now that I know how to live without expecting so much, because most of the people become like slaves of the system, and they think if they don't have this amazing car, they don't have the status in the society. If they don't have this and they don't have that, so that's the way a lot of people, I think now, if they have so much richness, they can't use it. They are in their homes. It's useless. Now it's useless. The only thing is you have to use to be happy is yourself, because the happiness, if the happiness is from inside and not outside, it doesn't depend of what you have. It depends of what you are. So I think one of the ways you can reach that point of consciousness, it becomes with the most simple thing, is to don't wish to have something, is to wish what you have already, is to appreciate what you have right now, and what you don't have right now, you don't need it. And we have so many richness. We have families. We have we can breathe. We have eyes to watch this beautiful world. We have hands. We have everything in here. And if some people don't have these things, when I see blind people, they're masters, because they teach you the meaning of life. Sometimes they appreciate more life than you. Sometimes when you see people without feet, they have the willpower, an amazing willpower, and they don't limit themselves. And sometimes when I see cases of this kind of people trying to do the best every day in their lives, their lives 100%, they teach you that you have a lot to learn, and you have everything in you to be happy. So I think one of the ways is to develop the spirituality, because if it doesn't start from there, from the inside, it's just going to be a mask. We can do many things, like separate garbage. We can change our behaviors of the way we eat. We can do many things in life, but if it doesn't come from the inside, the change from the inside in the spirituality, it's not gonna last long. It's gonna be just like temporary, and you're gonna come back to the same behaviors of before. So the great test is to really heal your life, to really heal your relationship with your family, with your friends, with the people they don't like you, with many things. But the first thing is with you. And I was talking with somebody who start asking me by messenger, like it's in depression, it's somebody this person was in love with, left with some other person, and it's the situation. He was asking me, what can I do? And I was like, well, the first thing you have to do is to heal that relation, to forgive, forgive you. And one of the hardest things in humanity is the relationship with other humans. That's the hardest part. And in the hardest part for most of the people is the relationship with their family sometimes. And that's the great test for me. And a lot of people who doesn't, I told that person, you have to learn how to be with yourself. A lot of people, when they have a break heart, they try to hide that sadness with other person, and they go from here to there, and they don't get the chance to be alone, and they don't get the chance to look inside and to see what is your real face. And they are afraid of the loneliness, and that's not good, because you have to learn to be with yourself and to be happy with yourself. When you are alone and you have the chance to laugh with you, you have the chance to be happy with you. And the most important thing, when you learn to love yourself 100%, you have the power of happiness, and you don't put that key in the pocket of another person. That key belongs in your pocket, never another pocket. So a lot of people now, I believe many people in this loneliness, in this pandemic, when there's no pandemic, if you're sad, they go and they drink, they go and they go party, they go and they go anywhere to take drugs, anything. But now they can't. and now it's worse, because if they're lonely, if they're sad, they can have what they used to use to try to erase that sadness. That's the real test. In Spanish they call it soledad, and it means like the age of the sun. So the sol edad. So is the biggest opportunity is when there's tests, the biggest tests, the biggest challenges are greatest opportunities to grow. And if you don't look like the challenges like that, that challenges, they will defeat you.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that the greatest battles, the worst battles, creator, the universe give that to the greatest warriors. So yeah, I think so. One of the ways for me to reach that different way of consciousness is it becomes from the deepest, from your soul, from the deepest of your soul.
Absolutely. Well, I think you covered so many important things there. And, one of the things that really stood out for me, and it came up in a conversation I had with Al Jeffrey on this earlier, about enough, and recognizing that enoughness within ourselves, that we are implicitly enough, and that we don't need to acquire these material possessions or this social status or this power or money. And I think that that you also expressed that really eloquently on that external, at what point do we decide that we've progressed enough, or grown enough as a business, or grown enough as an economy? And I think that this is inviting us to all connect and discover that enoughness within ourselves, and also accept the enoughness of our spaces. And I think that will allow for a redistribution of resources and wealth if people realize that they don't need to accrue and hoard all these resources in order to be successful, or to be desirable, or which all comes from that lack of self-love, that lack of self-worth, that internal fortitude that you can cultivate when you have that right relationship with yourself. And so I think what you speak to is really at the at the center of the issues that we're facing. And, you know, also what you said about relating with family and how that often represents the most difficult challenge, because they often represent so much of the triggers and traumas and challenges that you face in your adult life, or in your, you know, whatever. And if you're with your family at this time, it can be very confronting for a lot of people, I'm sure. And so, you know, I really appreciate this perspective you bring around that. I guess, you know, I'd love to hear also what some of the things you've been seeing in the world, you know, as you look outwards, that have been giving you hope, that have been fueling your spirit, that have been, you know, making your heart smile. What are some of those things that you've seen that have been lifting you up?
Well, when I see people helping other people, I see the hope of humanity between the chaos. It's like this flower. It's called loto, that grows between phantom. How to say pantano? I don't know how to say. What I meant to say is that between all this chaos, there's hope, and there's people who's trying to help other. And the nature of the soul is to serve others. That's why we came here, to this creation, to this universe, to this Mother Earth, to serve humanity, to serve your family, to serve the animals, to serve the nature, to serve creation, the universe. Not the opposite. A lot of people think that they came here, so everybody has to serve them, and that is ego. So what it gives me hope is when I see a lot of people becoming what they really are, what we really are as humanity. We are the nature of our soul is the goodness, is the compassion. That's the nature of our spirits, and a lot of people is helping. Especially, I give all the credits to all the people who are fighting in the hospitals, all the medics, all the doctors, women, men, facing this pandemic and offering their lives to save other people. I think they're heroes. And now we see it because there is a pandemic, but it's been like that for many years. And like them, there's a lot of people every day doing something for still having hope for humanity. And there's the people who work in the like the farmers now, like for example in United States, that most of the people who are resident, they don't get the chance to go and work in the fields. Well, the ones who are still working, most of it is the immigrants. And they are facing, and they are fighting, and they are providing the food. And it's when we really we have to realize as humanities, the most important things are the things that it was important for our ancestors 1,000 years ago. The simple things. It was the things that connect you with nature. Our ancestors used to grow the corn. They used to grow their own food. They used to have this connection more with nature than us. And we're in this modern time, the people is trying to escape that origin. But I think we're going back, even if we don't want. We are going back. we are going back to the origin. So yeah, for me, that hope is the kindness of the people between all this chaos. Compassion.
Yeah, I feel like this crisis has really emphasized the importance of the people who are essential workers. As we see the collapse of all these systems that are fictions in certain senses, or they've been constructed by the mind, we see and return to what is essential, health and wellness, food, clean water, shelter, these kind of things that, and the people that work on providing that for people often go unrecognized and unnoticed. And, this is an opportunity to really honor those people who are really serving in oftentimes thankless positions that, aren't recognized. And so, yeah, that's something that's also really been, a positive outcome from this situation for me, or that I've seen. I think, the last thing I'd love to go over is, moving forward, what are some of the things you hope to see in our future? What is the story of humanity that you want to see moving forward? And what are some of the stepping stones or the path to get there?
Well, since I was more younger, and now I still believe in that. I see that we have a lot of technology now that is destroying our planet. But in the other side, we have people going back and trying to do what we're supposed to do, but it's just a little percent. It's just almost nothing compared with all the 99% of the people who still living with the same system that they tell us it's supposed to be. What I want to see the humanity, I think one way we can face the future is in the present. Is I mean, we can't erase what it is now. We can't destroy all the technology that is now. Actually, we're talking with technology. It's incredible. From Australia all the way to America to Mexico, it's crazy. It's part of the globalization too. But there are some positive things we can use from these modern things, especially technology. And I think one way the universe or history or the situation is pushing us, and for me is one of the ways I want to see the humanity, is using the technology mixed with the ancient ways of life, using technology to use less energy, using technology to destroy what we have done, and mix that with the ancient knowledge of our ancestors from all over the world, because native ancestors or native cultures, they used to live for thousands of years without destroying our planet as we are doing now. So what I believe is that is something that I wish and I hope it can happen. I many people is doing it now, and I think that's really cool to think about it.
Yeah, I think that it's so critical that we open space for ancient wisdom to arrive in the modern context, and make sure that the proliferation of technology, especially exponential technologies that have such an incredible potential impact, for better or for worse, that we have that be informed by the wisdom that has helped steward a healthy planet for tens of thousands of years prior to industrialization and modern civilization. And I think that is such a powerful vision for the future. I want to open up the space for you to share any last thoughts or or feelings or ideas or, you know, announcements or anything you'd like to make. So yeah, feel free to share.
Well, I'm just really grateful for you to think about me and to share a little bit of what I have inside. And if somebody is gonna hear what I'm saying and they give me 1 minute to listen to me, what I can say is just, I think we have to start not thinking about progress as we've been thinking. That progress, it means pollution. That progress, it means destruction. That progress, it means extinction. And that progress, it means disconnection. So what I think and what I see that other people think in Spanish, some people they call it crecimiento, which it means like the opposite of progress, is to say that, as you were saying, we are enough. We have enough, and we have what we need now. We don't need that much, and we need to start going back, learning from the natives from all over the world, and to go back to plant the corn, and to try to go back to have more contact with nature. I think one of the advices I can give is just live simple lives and to be happy what you have, because we have everything, and that's the most difficult thing. To be happy. To be angry is really easy. To destroy other people's heart, other people's families, property, everything. To kill is really easy. To destroy is really, really easy. But the most difficult thing is to grow, is to build. And the most difficult thing is to be happy and to maintain that level of consciousness the longest that you can, because the people who is unhappy try to make other people unhappy, and they get sick and they die, but before they die they spread that sickness to many people. So the biggest gift you can give to humanity is to be happy, but it's also the most difficult thing to reach. So just live with enough and have a simple life and be happy and don't have attachments.
Yeah, I think what you speak to is that, you know, deep grounded happiness, that contentedness, that's a freedom or liberation from craving and desire, and as is taught in, you know, so many traditions. And I think, yeah, it's a beautiful way to round it out. I also really love what you said earlier about, you know, the universe presents the greatest challenges to the strongest warriors, and even though it might not feel like that when you're facing what feels like insurmountable personal or external challenges, just knowing that we have that deep resiliency and that we can tap into that courage within ourselves to move forward. I'd love to extend a huge thank you to you for lending us your time, your energy, your mind. I really appreciate the beautiful perspective that you brought. And, you know, I'd like to thank everyone who's tuning in and checking out this content. I hope you've been enjoying the live streams and the other amazing stuff that's happening over this weekend. Yeah, Dale, thank you so much for lending us your time and your energy.
It's an honor for me, brother, and I hope to see you soon. And let's pray for all the peace and harmony of humanity and the hope. We still have a lot of hope in the children and in the power of the peace lies between all of us.